Mr. Real Deal Ramil Kamilov here, and you're watching The Marcus Deegan Show.
The Marcus Deegan Show! What's the story, guys? Welcome to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Deegan, shooting from Sin City, Las Vegas. Thanks for joining us again. It's pretty early in the morning here. My guest got up super early. He's got to go back to Calgary today. So I appreciate him coming in. When I get these guests, I get there. Sometimes I reach out to them, DM them on Instagram, and they reach out. Or sometimes their publicists send them to me. So Mr. Ed Cap, who's a wonderful publicist that part of the Iridium Sports Management, sent me this. I said, can you just send me a little synopsis of my guest today? And this is what he said. Born in Kazakhstan, moved to Canada at a young age. He's regarded as one of Canada's top prospects. Listen to this. He's 7-0, and in his next fight, he's fighting Tom O'Connor, who's 12-2, for the vacant Unified MMA Lightweight Championship at the Unified 54 on December 15th in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, live on UFC Fight Pass. Signed to the Anthony Pettis Showtime Group Management. This young man is in Canada, but in Vegas training for his fight, kind of shadowing Anthony. Would you welcome to the podcast? That's a bloody good resume right there. Ramil, the real deal. What's up, brother?
Hey, man. Good to be here.
Thanks so much for getting up so early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Great studio you got. Place is really nice.
I really, really appreciate that. What did you think of Ed Cap's thing that he sent me of you? That's a pretty impressive resume for someone so young. How old are you, bro?
I'm 26. It's pretty comprehensive of my pro career, but I think it's only the beginning.
Absolutely, but the thing is, what I really like about up-and-comings, an up-and-coming is that when you have such a great resume like you have, it's pretty much only inevitable where the next step is, right? The next step's obviously the UFC. How long have you been manifesting that dream? And when do you think it's going to happen?
Absolutely. I do believe it's the next step. I think it becomes more and more apparent every fight that I have, the longer the time goes on. Honestly, I had this dream as soon as I started MMA. I never told anyone about it. I just kept it to myself all quiet. I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to make it. There's a lot of doubts along the way. But I have everything within me to make it successfully in this sport, reach my goals, and keep pushing further and further.
What would you say has been your greatest moment in your career so far?
I've had a lot of great moments, a lot of turntable moments. I really love my amateur debut because I was only 19 years old. I was going on against a really big, tough-looking guy, very aggressive towards me. A lot of my friends at the time, they wanted to come out and watch my amateur debut, but after they watched the weigh-ins, they decided they're not going to come through because they thought I'd lose. Like, this guy was so mean-looking, but all he did was lay and pray me for 2 rounds, and then I got pissed off, got up, said what, and knocked him out in the second round. That was a very big moment for me because I understood that I broke the barrier, that now I was 1-0 in amateur MMA. I understood that I can win in the cage. That was a big moment. As an amateur, I fought for XFFC out in Canada. I won a Harley Davidson motorbike for performance of the night. I won a championship belt as an amateur. As a professional, I had a nice knockout. Getting signed to Anthony was super big. I've had huge moments in Vegas. I remember the first time I came out here was really the moment that I realized that I'm world class and I can make it into the UFC. It was a big moment of realization. I've had lots of moments, and God willing, this journey is far from over, and we got much bigger moments to go.
When you said that you had that moment where you realized that you were world class and just ready for it, was that a particular, do you remember the instance, or was it just an accumulation of all of your badass achievements that you've done so far? Or were you just like sitting there one day and went, you know what, I can do this?
It was last time I was in Vegas. It was both an accumulation, but also sparring people out here, world-class people, and seeing that I can actually land shots on them. I can actually take them down. I can do big things. And I was walking my way towards a taco shop and having epiphanies. I spend a lot of time out here alone in Vegas. I like it. It's like a Ronin. It gets me in my head. This time around, I grew even more as a person, and I'm taking it to the next step. So yeah, it's very exciting for me what's to come.
And I suppose having a great team around you is also, a huge part of, even though, combat sports is a singular fight. You guys are fighting. It's a solo sport, but you got to have a strong team behind you. Talk a little bit about your team out here in Vegas and how they've helped you move forward with your career. People like Ed Cap, people like Jason House, people, like the people that you're training with.
Hmm. Well, it would be unfair to talk about my team and not talk about my main team champions, Creed and Calgary. I've been with them since I was 15, 16 years old. The first day I walked into the gym, we have produced 3 UFC fighters so far, so 3 UFC fighters and counting. From a young age, I used to spar Hakeem Dawodu. He's just outside of top 15 in featherweight right now, world champion Muay Thai fighter. I helped him prep for a lot of fights. We have other great training partners. Our team is just a perfect size where it's big enough that you get different looks, you get experienced veterans, you get up-and-comers, you can learn everywhere, you get all sorts of bodies, all sorts of training partners, but at the same time, our gym is small enough that you get enough coaches' attention and you have a dedicated MMA coach that can pay enough attention to you.
I like how you said that when you started training out here with these elite fighters and you started landing shots, that kind of boosted your confidence big time. That's kind of like a dream of everyone, really. Like, imagine looking up to your heroes, people that you've admired and watched on the TV, watched the UFC, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, you're in the octagon with them training, and you're actually landing shots. That's got to be an incredible feeling, man.
Yeah, exactly. It was, and it all happened so fast, right? At one moment, I was in my amateurs, doing not so good, 50-50, winning most fights, but losing some fights. And then all of a sudden, I go pro, and I get signed right away, and I come to Vegas all within 6 months, and it just got rolling really fast from there.
Is all your parents and your family in Canada?
Yeah, my immediate family is in Canada, but everybody else, like all cousins, uncles, all that stuff is all they're all in Russia actually.
Do you go back there much?
Last time I was there was well, so I grew up in Kazakhstan, but ethnically I am Tatar. So Tatars are indigenous people in Russia. It's not quite the same group as Dagestan, but yeah, it's the biggest minority in Russia. So that's where all my parents are, or all my family is, and I was in Tatarstan last year. Yeah.
Do you make borscht?
No, I don't make that's traditional Russian Slavic. But our cultures do enjoy it as well. It's spread.
What would you say would be the main like how borscht is the main soup of like you said the Russian people. What would be like what would something that your mum would make traditionally from your part of the world where you guys come from?
So in Kazakhstan, the traditional food where I grew up would be bishbarmak. It translates literally to 5 fingers. It's a meal you eat with your hands. It's pretty much like dough with usually horse meat and onion and things like that, and you just wrap it up in the dough and eat it. Similar to a lot of cultures, you have the Mexicans have burritos and the Middle Easterners have shawarma. Everywhere it's really just meat wrapped in a bunch of dough. Any culture you take, I've noticed that.
Yeah, I agree. When people ask me what's like the main food of Australia, where I come from, it's more like the meat pie or the barbecue or something like. There's no like specific kangaroo burger or anything
That's
like
what I
that.
was expecting. No kangaroo meat.
No, but they do eat kangaroo meat in Australia. Kangaroos are they're like a pest over there, so they use them for pet food. But people do also eat it as well. But it's very gamey, very like bitter. Not my kind of that gamey
Okay.
meat. Like I don't know what horse tastes like.
No, horse tastes great.
It does really.
Yeah.
Is that a common meal over there? So
It's in Kazakhstan. It's I think, well, culturally the most popular type of meat for sure. It's known for the horse meat.
So you were born there, And then how old were you before you moved to Canada?
I was 13 years old when I moved to Canada.
So did you speak English when you went over there?
Yeah, I spoke a bit of English. I lived in the UK when I was 6 and 7 years old. That was very interesting. It was interesting to come back to Kazakhstan after living in the UK and the West at that age.
So why was the reason for so much traveling around when you were a kid? Was your dad in the military, or like, what was the reason for your travels?
Yeah, work for my parents, oil and gas, yeah.
You worked for your parents?
No, my parents, it's their career.
Is gas?
Yeah, it was in the oil and gas business, yeah.
Nice. And so, okay, so you moved. Where's been your favorite place to live so far?
Favorite to live? I gotta go with Calgary right now because I've spent the last over a decade there, and now I'm comfortable. I've grown roots. I got good connections. Yeah.
Do you snowboard?
No, I don't snow. I don't take any advantage of the Calgary weather, of the mountains, really enough anyways. I don't snowboard, no. It's so much a hassle, man. I train 2-3 times a day most of the time, most of the year. And then on my off day to get that snowboard, get all that gear, and then go out into the mountains, man. I want to rest. I want to lay in bed.
Yes, I feel you on that one. Listen, I'm not partial to the cold. I've never, I don't mind the cold weather, but when it comes to like snow, and I'm sure it gets cold from where you come from, and I know it's cold as fuck in Canada, man. It's freezing cold out there. I suppose that's why you like Vegas here in the summertime, right? There's
absolutely. I grew up, I was born and I grew up in the desert. Right, so it gets up to, man, I don't know Fahrenheit, but in Celsius it gets up to 50 degrees easily out there.
Yeah.
So that's, I enjoy the desert, man. I get into the car and it's a hot day. I'll sit there for a little bit before I put on the air conditioner. It reminds me of back home.
Really? Is that
I'm a bit homesick, I guess.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, Australia is like that as well, like in the middle of Australia, in the desert, in the outback. Mm-hmm. It will kill you quick, man. Mm-hmm. Real quick. You don't have water or food, you barely last 2 days out there. Yeah. You been to Australia?
I've been to Perth. I've been to Sydney.
No way.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, this guy's been... Holy crap. For 26 years old, he's been everywhere. So tell me, why were you there and what did you think of the place?
I went there on my way to immigrate to Canada, actually. I was 13 years old. It was... I remember... me and my mom thinking that this Perth specifically, that's where we were staying. I guess we were staying at this place. It was like the middle of a suburb. It was extremely quiet. One thing, it felt like a paradise, honestly, with the great weather and everyone's lawns so green and perfect. That could just been the exact spot we were staying at. But one specific thing I remember about Perth, and it might be just a beach culture thing, but also I come from a beach place. We didn't have this. It was... the one city I've been to probably in the world, I haven't been to Miami yet, but it was the one city in the world that had the most fittest people I've ever seen, the most in shape. Even the men that were fatter, older, it looked like they had muscle under their fat. Everyone was extremely in shape in Perth. It was very surprising. I remember to this day.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose that's the culture there. The beach culture is to be in shape, and... Australia, I believe, like when people always ask me, what's the one big difference that Australia has from America? And I reckon the food is way better. The food in Australia is much better than here in America.
I only remember having the fish and chips, so I can't comment much on the food.
Yeah, well, Australia, I miss you. I miss the food, but you can't beat a good In-N-Out burger over here in Las Vegas. What do you think of the Vegas food? Have you had an In-N-Out burger?
I've been cutting a lot of weight, so I actually haven't had an In-N-Out burger, but I did have a cheat meal. I've had it before.
Okay.
And I'll be the one to say I think it's overhyped, man. I think it's overhyped. I think it's only very slightly better than your average burger. Maybe the price point is what does it.
Yeah.
But I like the Gordon Ramsay burger out here. Yeah, that was good. I can't say nothing bad about that.
My wife has a crush on him.
Oh, man. I don't know what to tell you, bro.
She has a crush on...
How do you compete with a guy that's got 10 different types of restaurants for himself?
Yeah. I don't know. How could I compare with Gordon Ramsay?
Well, at least you have an accent too,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I have an accent as well. Yeah.
She must have a type.
Yeah, yeah. Older guys with accents. Yeah, man. No, I don't mind Gordon Ramsay. There's a lot of restaurants here in Las Vegas. There's a lot you can do here in this freaking town, man. But I kind of do agree with you a little bit now on the In-N-Out Burger because it used to be better. Would you agree with that, Chase? It used to be a lot better than it is now.
Yeah, it feels like the past couple years, I don't know if the supply chain's gotten messed up or something, but it's just not good.
Yeah.
The fries used to be better too. I don't know if they stopped getting them from Idaho or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Did you hear about those French fries that they said, the ones from McDonald's? Did you hear about? No. So the potatoes that they use for French fries in McDonald's are really the long ones, so they get those big, long yellow fries. I heard that the chemicals that they use to grow those potatoes have been proven carcinogenic.
That doesn't really shock me.
Yeah.
No, I wish it did.
Yeah.
But, fast food in America.
Are you a conspiracy theorist? Do you get into conspiracies and stuff like that?
Yeah. I
do?
Do
you think that the American government knows about all the UFOs and have hidden information and they have known for years?
I haven't looked into it too much, but I wouldn't put it past them. I would not put it past them.
Do you personally believe that there is craft from another place that is visiting Earth due to all the current and amazing evidence that's been brought out lately?
I haven't seen the evidence, but I don't doubt that there's alien life, and I don't doubt that governments would hide things from us.
Is that not such? Do you get into that? Is that not like I'm right into stuff like that, UFOs, Bigfoot. I'm into life after death and kind of weird paranormal stuff like that. Is that something that you get into? Do you believe in that?
Yeah, I get into it. It's entertaining. It's interesting. It tickles my brain. I like it, but the UFO stuff, I haven't really been following it too much lately. Yeah,
I mean, it's got to be, I mean, we can't be that ignorant to think that we're the only ones here on Earth. That there's definitely got to be, and if someone can come to our planet from another planet, obviously they're advanced. Let's just hope that they're friendly.
Yeah. Well, what if we fuck them up?
Do you reckon that we could fuck them up?
Probably not, man.
I reckon we'll fuck ourselves up.
But it's the fear of the unknown, right? That's what gets us, because we don't know what could be out there. We don't know what it could look like. We don't know if our human brain can even
comprehend it. Yeah,
comprehend or imagine what it could be like, because we haven't seen anything like it. It could be something that works completely against any of our laws of physics. It could be that crazy.
I tend to think it might be even different dimensions, not only just different planets, but those two different dimensions that are right next to each other that maybe these guys have learned how to go from one. I know it's fucking heavy, right? You can go from one dimension to the other. Who knows, right?
That's where it gets tough to wrap your head around it a bit.
Yeah, right. It is. And I suppose that's the human way. We're very curious creatures, and I'd rather believe it than not believe it. It's more exciting to believe that kind of shit, right?
Maybe we can see it in our lifetime.
Do you think so, bro?
Man, there's so much crazy stuff happening in our lifetime that I think people never thought that would happen, that I could see it happening.
Yeah, it's literally you've got pretty much the whole world of information in this small contraption that you have on you 24/7, that you can talk to anyone anywhere around the world instantly like that. You can pull up any information about it instantaneously. You get into AI?
Yeah. I mean, you can't fight the fact that it's here. You can't fight the world's changing, man.
Yeah, and I suppose I'm a little bit older than you. You've been in the world of technology pretty much your whole life. Have you seen a big shift in it? Have you seen it getting more and more and more and more advanced?
Absolutely. I'm born in 97, so it's not to say I grew up without technology, but I wasn't the generation of iPad kids. That only came around when I was in my teens. So I definitely see how the world's advancing much faster. I feel like it's advancing at a fast rate. I feel like right now, every generation right now changes more faster, if you get what I'm saying. The next generation will have more changes than the changes that happened in between the two generations between them. they'll have less in common. I feel like that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can attest to that. Growing up, being born in 1970, and then being 10 years old by 1980, compared to how 10-year-olds are now, it's literally night and day in difference as far as advancement. Smarter now, you know what I mean? We were simple folks back in those days, but you know what I mean? It's different now. Do you I suppose you have no kids? You're too young for kids, right? You don't have any kids.
If I had it my way, I'd have 5 already, man. But
Yeah,
I have none right now.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. You like kids?
Yeah.
I'm the same.
I wanna start my own like my
Dojo?
own thing, my dynasty. I
Yeah.
wanna start. Yeah, I wanna have lots of kids. You know what? Part of the reason is because I grew up the oldest child, but I never had no brothers, and I grew up as a minority. Right where I grew up, I used to get my ass beat a lot for being a minority. I didn't have a older brother or anything like that I could call on. I had to take my lickings by myself. I've been having to build myself, make all the connections myself, things like that. It's definitely a tough thing to do, but it's built me very well into who I am today. But I feel like I want to start a family where I have many children. They can help each other out, and then when they have grandkids, then you have a much bigger network to work among, and you can build big things.
Do you think that just growing up by yourself like that without any siblings, did that kind of mold? I don't want to say the tough guy that you are, but did that kind of mold you into becoming this athlete, this fighter? Do you carry some of that with you when you go into the octagon, that having to do everything by yourself?
Absolutely. I carry that with myself in my life. I'm not the only child, but I'm the oldest sibling. So, yeah, I've had to. Oftentimes, I couldn't call for help.
Yeah. Does that build a wall around you, do you think, when you grow into adulthood? Do you think that, you put up this wall? Do you put up a wall?
I think you have to put up a wall the more successful that you become, because more people hit you up with like just general stupidity every single day, and most of it is just a reflection of themselves. I'll see people have whole conversations with themselves in my DM just because I'm busy for the entire day. They'll go from, "Hey, what's up? It's been so long." It's someone I've only talked to like 2 times in my life 8 years ago. They'll have a whole conversation with myself, and then they'll be like, "Oh, what, you big manning me now? You're a big shot." Bro, I've literally just been driving one thing, calling this guy, doing this, training this, and then like, or they'll hit me with I had a dude hit me with a business opportunity, and then like I get people hit me with crazy, stupid business opportunities, and then they'll be like, "Oh, hey, I also like ask your coach about it. Why don't you bring it up to Anthony Pettis?" Like, bro, this isn't even worth my time, man. You think it's worth his time? The audacity of some people. You have to tune them out. You have to put up walls. So I can't imagine how it is for someone that's, really high level successful, like a Habib or McGregor or something like that. I can understand why sometimes they get taken as being dicks, but they have so many people at all times with so much, oftentimes stupidity, oftentimes uselessness, oftentimes things that detract from your mission, hitting you up, trying to take your energy, steal your energy. At the same time, you want to be a force of good. You want to help people out. So it's a very balancing act. But you absolutely do have to put walls up around yourself in this game. And I think just generally, if you become successful,
I suppose you become really awesome very quickly at determining who the fuckwits are and who the people that are generally a fan or care about you or want hey, nice work, champ, or you know what I mean. You tend to weed out these people. Do you have a lot more? Do you have a lot of shit talkers? Do people talk shit?
Surprisingly, I don't have that many.
Really, that's good.
Yeah. I'm very surprised. In person, it's not really happened since I was 17, 18. I mean, a lot of guys coming up, they have crappy coworkers or something like that, right? The coworkers will be like trying to stomp down their dreams. "Oh, you think you can do this? You think you can do that?" But I've never had anything like that in person. I've had more recently, I've had people being stupid on Instagram. Like many of them are just complete nut jobs, just saying crazy stuff, calling the gym, like moaning into the phone, like he's all sorts of individuals, right? It's only gonna get crazier going forward. Some guys are hating. Most of them, though, like when they leave their comments, you read into it long enough, and you realize these people don't know anything about you, right? Or oftentimes what they're even talking about. If they did, if that's how it started with, if they were actually hitting me with things that were true, maybe it would have had an effect. But now I learned that they're just random shots in the dark. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I like what people like Sean Strickland do. They tell their haters, "Come on, man, come on into the gym. We'll hop in the ring, and we'll spar for a couple of rounds, and you can take out all your aggression." And I love that. I love that.
I'm half and half on that, like I think it doesn't really prove anything, Of course I'll beat the crap out of this internet troll. What I think is cooler, I think it's cooler to engage with them. If you're going to go that route, if you're going to engage, I think it's cooler to engage with them at their own game and beat them at their own game of trolling. Especially if you have no ammo on them, you don't know anything about them. You have a fake account with a fake name, no followers, and they have everything they can see about you on your Instagram. Your stuff's public. And if you can own them still, just based on words, I think that's the biggest G move you can do if you're going to engage.
Yeah, you've got to be linguistically talented with your words, which I'm pretty good at that as well. So I like to destroy them verbally if I can. So are you seeing your status and your popularity rise now? Like, are people noticing you a lot more? And are you starting to feel that what's about to come? Are you feeling it? Are you manifesting it right? You're like, fuck, you're teetering on the edge of being in the biggest organization in the world, being seen by millions of fucking people. And if you continue to do what you've already done in your past career in the UFC, fuck, you're going to be champ. Easy.
That's a big if, bro.
But
There's some tough cats in the UFC. But that's also what I've realized being this trip out here in Vegas, that I've done all the big things. I've done all the necessary things. I'm absolutely a pro athlete. I'm absolutely at this level. But now I encounter out here, because this is just such a fight mecca, I encounter a lot of people that's, they're born my year. They'll be like 2-3 months apart with me. Very similar records, 7-0, 8-0, 7-1, and we'll be training. And, I can do great things. I can even show them off sometimes. But we're still very close in level. Now it comes down to those very small things as a pro. Like, now it comes down to the minor details. This is where I gotta really step it up. But as for myself, I feel it deep in my bones. I feel that it's coming. I feel this is that moment that a lot of UFC fighters go through, where they're having money issues. It's real tough. Some of them can't even afford to eat. Some of them get into debt. Some of them are sleeping in their car. It's a real crappy part of your career. But it's that part that rich people always talk about, where they talk about the old days where all they had was hope, and they were sitting there spending their last $20 on a pack of or on whatever meal, Like, this is that moment, and I'm trying to appreciate it for all its beauty right now.
It's so amazing that you just said that, because I just literally had this conversation with my wife the other day, exactly what you just said right there. And I was like, you need to embrace these hard times that we're having right now, because for one, it's not going to be forever. And for two, when it's done, you'll be thinking back on, when we had no money, we were still pretty happy though. I exactly said it. I said, try and just embrace, these difficult times right now, because it just makes your endeavor into greatness better when you appreciate the small things. So fuck, I live on that. You believe in the mind as being a huge part of a huge tool in what you do?
Absolutely. I don't think there was any successful fighter out there that wouldn't believe that.
Yeah. Who would you think has got like one of the top mindsets in the business?
What a great question. I think I have to say Habib is one for sure. Very strong mind. Another one in a dark way, John Jones has it very well. I can recognize it. Uh, Other ones, there's other great ones. My mind's just going blank right now. I had them in my mind a second ago.
Connor's got a pretty good mindset.
Connor, yes, Connor and Floyd. Connor and Floyd
yeah.
are big ones, absolutely. To pull off what he did against Connor, Nate Diaz has a very strong mind too. You know, there's very many great examples of it. There's also glass cannons too.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Guys that can't handle the pressure.
Yeah.
I think a great one was Rose Namajunas in her first fight against Joanna.
Yep.
That
I
was
will
very
win.
well done.
I will win.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Who's like, you named a bunch of the greats there. Who's kind of like your favorite? Like, do you have sides that you go to? Are you like Team Khabib or you like Team McGregor? Are you like, do you go those different sides?
I'd
Ngannou or Fury? You know what I mean? Like, do you have your favorites?
I'd definitely be more Team Habib than I'd be Team McGregor.
Yeah.
But
because of your heritage, right? And you guys
Yeah.
come from the same area.
But I can see myself on both of them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can see myself in both of them. I think I should take positives from both of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely both have lots to learn from.
Have you met Khabib?
I
Is
have
it-
met Habib.
Is there a story there? Because I see you
No,
smiling, brother.
It's not the best story. I think I can chalk it up to me being young and him having a wall up and me being just one of those motherfuckers.
Do you want to tell us about it?
No, it's not anything special. It's not anything crazy.
Yeah, I suppose.
Just a meet and greet. I met him at a meet and greet once.
Yeah. He wasn't very nice to you.
I was just a hyped up little kid. you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the difference, though, I suppose, right?
Yeah, I can understand it now.
You can understand it now, but also you got to understand if it's a little kid, you'd be more partial to accepting his excitement and his overzealous.
Kid, I say 19, 18, 19. It's all like that.
Yeah, well. I mean, you know, when I met Michael Jackson, and I was pretty afraid that I didn't know what the interaction was going to be. I thought it was going to be very standoffish, but it was completely different. It was awesome. He was very upfront, very cool, very friendly. And I suppose that when people meet their heroes, you know, they can be devastated by, you know, if your hero was an asshole to you, I'm supposed that shit sticks with you forever, right? I mean, imagine if Michael Jackson was a real dickhead to me. You know what I mean? I'd never listen to Thriller ever again. But no, he was pretty cool. So would you say Habib's the biggest? He'd be a top athlete that you.
Inspiration wise?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. I would say the one that inspired me to change my life. Well, I didn't know what MMA was until I was a teenager, right? Until I Googled it up. I was looking up street fights, and then I came across MMA. Like that's what I was watching on YouTube when I was 15 or so, and I came across Fedor, and he was the only guy from the region that was doing big things. Well, he was the guy. I wish I could still call him the greatest of all time, but I think Jones has surpassed that now for sure. But yeah, Fedor would be the guy. Other favorite fighters of mine would be the Diaz brothers, polar opposite of Fedor's whole thing. But Diaz brothers and Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez, his work rate, his pressure. Yeah.
God bless Kane. Free Kane.
Free Kane.
Free Kane. I got a Free Kane T-shirt actually. I bought one of those T-shirts. Yeah. So did you watch? We just recently had the Ngannou and Fury fight. Did you watch that? Do you like those crossover fights? Did you watch them?
I liked it. I didn't get the chance to watch it for whatever reason.
So you
but
saw the highlights.
Yeah, I saw the highlights. It's funny because I was training with both coaches while I was out here.
Really?
Yeah.
So Dewey Cooper.
Well, no, not that's Ngannou's pad man, yeah. But no, I'm talking about. Well, I was at Eric's gym.
Oh, you at
out
Eric's
here.
gym, yeah.
I was at Eric's gym, and I was at Capetillo's, who's his pad holder when he's out here.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So how's that?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. That's why I can't have a super split opinion either way. I'll get crap from either side.
Yeah, I know. It's tough, man. It's tough, and especially I don't know. When I'm interviewing all these different people, I've got to be careful on who I say I kind of sway towards, which team I sway towards, because you got to be pretty impartial in this business, talking to everybody, you know?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely amazing though what Ngannou has done, considering considering his short time in MMA for one, and short time in MMA meaning an even shorter time in the boxing gym and throwing hands in general against a guy like Tyson Fury, who's not the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time, but possibly an all-time great. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. It just didn't seem that Tyson Fury's punches were having that much of an effect on Francis. It was unbelievable. They say that Francis hits harder than anyone else, and he's got the hardest hitting punch. They did a test on something. I don't know.
Yeah. Hits like a Ford Escort.
Hits like a Ford Escort, yeah. Fuck yeah, hits like a Ford Escort. So what do you guys do for Christmas time? It's got to be freaking nice in Calgary at Christmas, man.
We definitely got snow in Calgary.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, every time.
Yeah.
Well, we have a nice 2 weeks off where everyone, probably same as most places, everyone is eating way too much chocolate, gaining weight, drinking and whatnot, and not being too productive in the office.
Yeah. When's your next fight? And
it's December 15th.
Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. That's
let's do it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, are you the type of person when you're getting ready for a fight, you watch your opponent's videos, sit down with your coaches, and then kind of strategize and go, okay, he always does this, so we're going to counter and do, like, is that something that you do? I like to know if you guys will sit around the TV and be like, fuck yeah, okay. Is that in your do you do that in your training?
I do that when there's a lot of unknowns. If I was fighting a guy from the U.S., but this guy realistically, he's from the next city over. I've known about this guy since 2018, right? Like, he was already pro with a bunch of fights. I was still like early in my amateur career, but I've just it's come to the point where I've caught up with this guy, and now we're gonna see who's top dog.
Have you guys had interactions before?
Yeah, it's come about real funny, this fight, because I feel like he wasn't too keen on taking the fight. So what I do when that happens is I start calling guys out. I've realized that if it's a guy in the US or elsewhere in the world, that doesn't work, because he'll just block me and his fan base won't see it, so it has zero effect. But when it's a guy locally, we share a lot of the same fan base, because just local fight fans, right?
Yeah.
So when I start calling a guy out like that, the fans start seeing it, his friends start seeing it, right? And it creates a lot of pressure on a guy to accept a fight. And even then, he didn't break down right away. It took about a month of consistent call-outs, probably 20, 30 Instagram stories.
And then you just tag him in it? And
I would tag him in it. I started tagging his management in it too. Everything. Being creative with it. You saw some of the videos on my Instagram.
Yeah.
Post-fight call-out. Everything I could possibly do. Messaging him. Also being respectful in my messages. Like, let's do this for Canadian MMA, bro.
Right.
Taking every angle
I
possibly could. Making jokes about it. Being serious about it. Calling names about it and being respectful.
Covering all angles of the call-outs.
Covering all angles, yes. The management too. Getting people to comment stuff. Yeah, anything I could do. I got this. But yeah, so going back, I haven't really been watching too much on him. I know how he fights. I know how my game matches up with him. I'm very confident.
Yeah. Who's the main event for that card?
Main event, I'm the co-main event. Main event is Shane Campbell versus Daryl Horcher. He fought Habib.
Okay. Now this is all on UFC Fight Pass, right?
Yeah, UFC Fight Pass. Shane's a UFC vet. He lost a few in the UFC, and he's been, I think, 11-2 or 12-2 since his UFC departure, with his only 2 losses in Russia. In that time, but he's trying to make it back into the UFC. He's fighting for the 165 title. I'm fighting for the 155 title. He had a few words to say on his Instagram post, but I'm gonna leave that for after I'm done with Tom.
Nice. Nice.
I gotta focus on Tom first. We can talk with Shane after.
Yep. And whereabouts in Canada is that going to be?
in the Texas of Canada, Alberta.
Oh, yeah, the Texas of Canada.
Yeah.
They have all those cowboy bars out there still. It's called Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. We have a Cowboys club in Calgary.
Yeah, they're everywhere in Canada.
Yeah.
So 15th of December in the Texas of Canada.
Yeah.
Going to be
a lot colder though. A lot colder. Edmonton's a cold place.
What's the venue yet?
The River Cree Resort and Casino in Enoch, Alberta. Well, it's Edmonton really. It's just outside of Edmonton. But the second best city in Alberta. Yes, after Calgary, where I live.
Right.
Yes.
That's where you live still?
Yeah, I live in Calgary.
What's the best thing about Calgary, man?
Best thing
The
about
people?
Calgary.
The people good there?
People are good, but it's very much a working city for me. You know, you work hard there, have fun elsewhere. It's becoming a more vibrant city, so to speak. The summer's a great time in Calgary. Summer, I would say, Calgary is one of the top places in the world to be. When it's a nice summer day, it's like 25 degrees or so, 30 degrees. It's not too hot, but it's a bit toasty. It's beautiful. Lots of green lakes, rivers, lots of wildlife. Yeah, great nature.
Well,
Mountains.
you're a Commonwealth like us, like Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we're brothers.
Yeah,
We're Commonwealth brothers.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Colonies.
So are you in camp now?
Yes, I'm in camp. I've been in camp out here the whole time, sparring every day out here. People try to kill me out here. I
Really?
like it. That's why I came out here.
Yeah. How much of your routine is sparring, and how important is that? Like, I don't think people that don't do MMA or don't train combat sports realize the importance of sparring, because it's a version of what you're about to do. Do you think, how important is that in your game?
I have the way I set up my training schedule for the week is I have a hierarchy of training that I have to get done. And at the very top of the hierarchy is MMA sparring. Second is MMA technique. Next goes Muay Thai, boxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, sparring, cage work sparring. It's all at the very top of the hierarchy. Next comes conditioning, like on the pads, and sprints, like bike sprints. Then comes technique training of all sorts. Yeah.
Okay.
Technique training of all sorts, building new skills, building new systems. That's for outside of fight camp. That's for in between fights.
So a lot of people that listen to this have, are huge fans of MMA, of course. Some people are new, right, and don't understand. When they see sparring, it looks like it's pretty much a proper fight. How much off 100% is your sparring sessions like? And can you explain to us, how do you know how hard to go? And do you go as hard as your opponent? Like, is there a unwritten rule when you step in there? Fuck, you only go 40%. Like, can you explain to us a lot of people don't know it.
So in my home gym where I train, we take care of our partners. We very considerate. That's all there is to it. We go probably full speed, but half power, maybe a little more on power. But out here at Extreme Couture, I start the rounds every time and let them dictate the pace. And almost every single time, you're killing each other, going 120%, trying to take each other's heads off, trying not to get your head taken off. And I enjoy it. It's not always the smartest way to train, so I have to be professional and pull back from that myself when I'm out here. But I fucking love it. I love it so much. I love fights.
I love that you love fighting, man.
Yeah.
I can see it in your face, bro. I can see it in your eyes. And it's just like with the sparring, it's such a balance, you know what I mean? Like, of being professional, but also wanting to win the spar, and also, like you said, wanting to fucking hurt the person when they're trying to hurt you back in a respectful way, right?
Yeah.
To enhance your skills. And also, I suppose, to condition yourself to being punched in the face, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't lack conditioning for that. I've had that all my life, you know. I know I can take a shot no matter what happens, right? But I really enjoy out here. I'll have like I'll have a big name or like someone really big. Another funny thing at Extreme Couture MMA, I swear to God, you go for a takedown and it's instant beef. You can be sparring all good. It's at an okay pace. And you go for a takedown. If it gets stopped, this guy's coming to take your head off.
Really?
It's almost like an unwritten rule. Like you're not allowed to wrestle there, or else they're gonna try to take your head off.
Man. That's funny.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Great bunch of people down there too. I love Eric Mixican. I love Sean Strickland, all those boys down there. And once again, it's, I suppose, when you're surrounded by greatness in the environment that you're in, it definitely has got to do something for your soul, just your whole mindset and your outlook, right? Like when you're looking over and there's, your favorite fighter there and there's two people there and then someone comes over and says, hey, can you help me with this? Or it's got to be an amazing feeling, man. I can't even imagine.
Man, it's. I'm glad you mentioned that because that has been so huge during my time here. You're constantly not only sparring them, but even just conversations, trying to pick their brain. Like, I feel after this trip in Vegas, I'm a completely different, changed man. I've done, I say this jokingly, I've done the final stage of growing up while I'm out here.
I love that.
Yeah. I'm finally coming close to my ultimate form. I'm reaching it. I'm going to achieve everything I need to. And part is because I've rubbed shoulders with greatness out here, like so much, man. I've been absorbing their energy. I've been listening to them speak. I've been really taking it into account, analyzing it, everything they have to say. I feel like that is very much a big difference between me and a lot of people I grew up with, is because I can see what's possible out there, so I don't settle for less. When I see the things that are possible, I see it in front of my own eyes, and I see that they're just human beings like me. Where for them, these people may only be on TV through a screen. You can't see that they're also human beings, that all things are possible.
I love hearing that kind of stuff, man. I fucking love it, eh? Gives me like butterflies inside when I hear those kind of, just because it's just so great, and I just love it because the opportunity that you've got, and that was where I was going to segue into the next question. There's obviously a difference between fucking coming in, training in a place like Extreme Couture, and then trying to do the same thing as you're doing, but in like, Idaho or somewhere like that, and not being around these people. This is definitely, like you said, the next fucking stage of becoming, the real deal. The real deal. You know what I mean, bro? That's fucking awesome, man. So, heading back to Calgary today. What time's your flight?
1 p.m. or 2 p.m., something like that. I got time.
You got time? You going straight from here to the airport?
No. I'm going home and packing. I'm packing my second bag. Yeah.
Packing your second bag. And then when do you plan on being back in Vegas? After you smash this guy December 15th, have a nice Christmas, work out the next part of your career, and then maybe come back over here for some more training?
First half of the year next year would be nice.
Yeah.
It would be nice before I get a Contender Series fight, God willing.
Have you watched the Contender Series live yet?
No, not out here.
Not out here?
Not out here in person. No one's invited me. But it's all good. I don't care, man. I don't need to be a spectator. I'm a competitor, man. That's the same thing that goes for watching fights. In the recent years, I haven't been watching as many fights, especially from a fan perspective. I'd much rather focus on myself than be a fanboy of someone else.
Yeah, that's a great mindset to have. Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I am a fanboy, and that's why I have all of these amazing plushies, which are from Big Shots. Guys, they've got every single fighter that you can think of. Hasbulla, McGregor, you just go down the line, Dustin Poirier, Iceman Chuck Liddell, you name it, they've got it. They got the belts. If you go onto their website or their Instagram and you put in my code MDSLV, you're going to get 10% off these. If your husband is an MMA fan, get him one of these ones. I don't know about Hasbulla, but maybe get him McGregor or something like that for Christmas. He'll love it. Big Shots, 10% off the order. What are you going to get for Christmas, bro? What do you want for Christmas this year?
I want my UFC shot for Christmas.
All right.
That's what I want. That's all my mind's on, man. Yeah. I don't care about Christmas, New Year, man. It's that time, For me, next 2 years, next 3 years, is the 2 years, 3 years of my life that are most important. They may prove to be most important. Make or break.
You got a time? You got a timeline of when you want to be signing that contract?
Next year. Next year.
So what would you say to what would you say to Uncle Dana?
Well, the first time that I ever mentioned UFC was when I went 6-0, and I'm the type of guy I don't want undeserved things. I don't want to be another one of those guys that's crushing bombs are too early, and he's still like, hey, Dana, so the casuals think you're cool, but everyone inside knows that this guy's a fake. So when I was 6-0, I said, hey, like, all I ask is you keep watching. At 7-0, I asked, do you like what you see? But at 8-0, I'm going to be asking for my shot.
8-0, you're asking for your shot.
Yeah. I think it is more than reasonable to do so at this point.
I really like the way you think, hey? Like, I really like the way you think, man. And a lot of what I really enjoy about talking to people that are in your line of business is the way that they think. I'm just amazed by it. And I just love your mindset and the direction that you're going, because for someone that's only 26, and I'm not saying that it's very young to have, I was a fucking dickhead when I was 26. Oh, you couldn't tell me nothing. You know what I mean? But then I sit down and I talk to someone like you, and you have this this mature mindset about you. So yeah. I believe that you're gonna really go a long way, especially if you keep that mindset.
Yeah, if you're genuinely a dickhead, then the sport humbles you very quick. And I've had moments where I was an enormous dickhead. So I've learned the moments, and there's times to be one, but for the most part, I'm not. For the most part, I try to keep it real too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose, that's just the way that we should all be, right? No one likes a dickhead. Right, Chase?
Damn right.
Are you a dickhead? Do you like dickheads, mate?
No.
No.
Well, depends on the lady.
Man, fucking, so how I like to finish out the show is I always like to ask everybody, do they have like a message for the world, for the thousands that are going to listen to this and for the thousands that are going to watch it? What's your message, man?
Everything you need is within you. Everything you need is within you.
Everything you need is within you. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Brother, best of luck on the 15th. Thanks for coming in early.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know too much about you before you came in, but I can say now that I'm going to know everything about you because I'm a fan, and I'm going to watch everything you do from here on forward. And I wish you nothing but the best in the future. And it's just a matter of time, my guy.
God willing.
Thank you so much, brother. The real deal. Guys, today's episode was sponsored by Riz Pharma, rizpharma.com. This is the Marcus Deegan Show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We're out.